How's it going, everybody? This is Martin Stokes here.
And this is Dean Scurry.
And I am a traveller.
And I'm a countryman.
Welcome to A Traveller
and a Countryman podcast.
This is episode 5 of our podcast, yeah? The Dean Martin Show.
The Dean Martin Show. I'm actually named after Dean Martin.
The Dean Martin Show, yeah? Well, you're Dean and I'm Martin, so what's that mean? Together, what are we?
Two fools.
Two Egypts.
Exactly. So, Traveller and a Countryman podcast, episode 5. We're back. What are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about slagging you off.
So, give us a slagging.
I'm not a great slagger, Dean, to be honest with you. You're the comedian. How long have you been a comedian? 10 years, is it?
Yeah, I've done stand-up comedy for 10 years. Started here in Ballymun. I just love Ballymun. I love community. I love the slagging and the banter.
Yeah.
A mate of mine, Sparky, lives here and he has some of the best slaggings.
Has he, yeah?
So he works as a youth worker, and when he's around the kids, he just whips them out of it. So whips them out of it is kind of like...
whips them out of it? Like, people might understand whips them out of it.
Well, whips them out of it is kind of like a countryman way of saying, or a set
of having joking with them and like,
just
making
slagging
them
them.
like,
slagging them. Yeah,
slagging
the bollocks out of them.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? For the crack, for the banter, for the Irish thing, the banter, the crack.
Right.
You know, people around the world mightn't get what the crack is, but Irish people, it's just having fun. Life is too serious sometimes. So Sparky has a great slagging, and it just came out of nowhere. It just came out of using words, and the slagging is teetapix. And you do it like that. All right, teetapix. And youngblers get paranoid because you think they're slagging their teeth or something
silly
like that.
little words, yeah?
Yeah. All right, teetapix. And people would be all mortified, but then they get it, they'd understand. It's a bit of friendly banter. Actually, what you're trying to do is bring them in rather than push them away, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Dublin is an amazing place for the banter, for crack, for slagging the fuck out of people.
Plenty, yeah. Well, that's what the Irish are good for, isn't it?
Yeah.
In particular, the Irish are good for the crack and the
travellers as well. Like, I'm not saying travellers aren't Irish, but travellers as a group in Ireland, I find them hilarious. Like.
Yeah. So do you know any travellers with good sense of humour and stuff like that? You do?
Yeah. Well, you're not bad. Like.
I wish.
No, you're not. Actually, you're not. You're loosening up. You're starting to really loosen up now in these podcasts. We're episode 5, and you're starting to just chill out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's not easy starting off anyway, is it?
No. You were a bit slow at the start now, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, you were a bit of an innocent boy in terms of the
podcast.
podcast.
I'm still an innocent boy.
In terms of the podcast game, you were a bit of an innocent boy.
Nothing's going to change fast, believe me.
But you're learning.
So what's your crazy jokes that brought you to Edinburgh? Tell me, go on.
More stories and more just...
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just stories from growing up.
Would you be slagging the people on the audience?
Not really. Like, if somebody gave you some hassle or you know, they call it heckling. If somebody done
would
that,
you be telling a lonely story with the hat out, looking for a few bob on the stage?
No, not really. I remember I'd done a gig for John Connors, a film John Connors was funding for Cardboard Gangsters in the Donamead Inn, and there was a couple of travellers there.
That was an interesting film, wasn't it?
Travellers there. There was a couple of travellers there, and I was kind of like hosting, doing the comedy, and they were very noisy and messy, and they were over in one corner. So I just got on the mic and I said, "See all the travellers in the corner there, yeah? Would you settle, please?" So that got their attention.
What did they say? We have no houses, other than we would.
Yeah. So that's just light banter. That's not slagging. Nobody's going to get offended. And even if they did, cop onto yourself.
A bit of slagging and banter and these kind of jibes, they come naturally. But if you're sitting down and you're trying to search for them, it's actually hard to find that right sense of humour, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think...
So it either goes naturally or it doesn't go at all.
I don't think, like, lads would know this in the pub. If someone's writing down stuff in the pub and using that, everyone's going to know.
Yes.
But when you get to, say, you mentioned stand-up comedy, when you get to the stand-up comedy level and you're gigging for 4, 5, 10 years, you need to start writing stuff down. Most comedians, maybe all the comedians in the world, there's probably a handful that don't write stuff down. Most comedians, you have to write your material down.
So
you
you're
have to change it up.
Probably have the same shows rehearsed over and over and over, like.
Most comedians now would definitely do the same show for about a year and a half, 2 years, probably even 3 years.
There is some great comedians though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I love them.
Brendan Grace was one of the absolute.
Do you like Brendan Grace?
Oh,
when I was a kid, I was into it, but I'm not really into that.
Serious?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Brendan Grace.
No, not everyone. So I just said, hold on.
Well,
I just said I don't.
That's your problem. I can't sort that out.
I don't not like him, but I wouldn't rate him as a comedian.
Anyone I know, come on, he's not a comedian. He entertained millions of people.
Yeah, but I don't rate him as a comedian
with comedy, and he went on for years and years and years, and he was literally a comedian until the day he died.
Yeah.
So he has to. How can you not rate him as a comedian?
So hold on here.
He was like 40 or 50 years in the business, came from the Liberties.
So we're gonna use Brendan Grace as an example. I'm going to move to music for a second.
Right.
Do you rate the Pecker Dunn?
Yeah, he's a good singer, yes.
Would you rate him as one of the best singers in the world?
Well, you see, there's different people have different views.
So that's what I'm saying. My view on Brendan Grace is he's good, but he's not one of the greats. For me, he's definitely not one of the greats.
I don't know if I said he was one of the greatest in the world. I did say he is brilliant. I said he's brilliant. Absolutely.
Would you rate him in the?
I would give him a top rating. Yes.
Would you?
I would.
Out of 10.
As an Irishman, I say give him 10 out of 10. And why not?
And who would be our top in the world? Do you have any?
I know. Well, I want to say I know a few comedians. We've all seen them on TV, and there is some good. There's some very good black comedy.
Yeah.
Very good comedians in the
black comedians.
Black comedians. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to black comedy or dark comedy, which is like comedy about.
Like we have Chris Rock there for starters.
Chris Rock, yeah.
Huh? Then we have your man beating him up for being a good comedian, huh?
It fascinates me that you were interested or that you heard of that story. Because you're not like really on social media or anything.
No, Dean, but I don't live in a den. I don't live underground.
You don't live in a borough.
I'm a traveller, like, but I'm out, like I breathe.
Yeah,
like,
you're not dead, like.
I see daylight. I sort of know. I hear certain things that goes on around me, like, you know what I mean? I'm not completely, totally, and utterly.
But would you have known Chris Rock before?
No, not in prison, like.
He got the head slapped off him.
Yeah, sure. He's great movies.
Yeah.
He is great. He is a great stand-up comedian.
You would have seen him doing stand-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Good laughs.
And when he says the N-word, would you listen to that? Because I know sometimes
the N-word as in but you see, the thing about it is
the N-word as in kind of like the K word for travellers.
But the thing about it is, if a traveller like jokes about himself, well, he shouldn't be offending anybody because he's a traveller, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so he has
so
the right
if you
to
have a
do
black man, a good comedian there, and he's literally joking about himself, you know what I mean? Who is he to offend?
Other black men.
Yeah, but I don't think they take offence in a sense where, like, if they're joking about colour, for instance, and he's black, then he's literally throwing the joke at himself, isn't he? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
who's gonna correct him for, say, talking about a black man? Sure, obviously he's gonna say, look, I'm a black man myself. So the reality is I'm driving myself here.
So I get it. So in the traveller world, we there's the K word, which as a non-traveller, I wouldn't really say. I have said it openly, and I've said the N-word as well, but I kind of had to check myself and just go, it's not really my place to say that.
You're talking about the knacker word, is it?
The knacker word, yeah. I just said it there, sorry.
Well, it's only it's only a word. Now, don't get me wrong, as a traveller, I don't be offended by these things, because the truth is I don't even give them thought. Like, words like that wouldn't offend me because I don't let it get to me. Like, you know,
but just like Chris Rock would use the N word,
because it really
would you use the K word ever?
Would I
even slagging yourself or slagging other travellers?
Well, you see, I wouldn't find it offensive if I did use it to slag other travelers.
You didn't answer my question there. You're avoiding the question.
I'm trying to.
Have you used it?
Have I used it?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I wouldn't really remember. I haven't written it down.
You're at the digging yourself a hole.
Listen, I haven't written it down, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if I was to use it, I don't think I really use it. To be honest, straight up, I wouldn't have used it a lot. No.
Yeah.
Because it's not a word that would come into my mind every day anyway.
I've been around a lot of travellers, and I wouldn't have heard it much at all. Not as much as I would heard the N word with black people.
If you use that word against me, basically, that would mean absolutely nothing to me, because I don't class myself as that. I'm a traveller, and that's basically it. So if other people have a word to say to me and it's not appropriate, I just let it, what do you call it, as a fellow said, let it over the like water on a duck's back, is it?
Yeah, touch on.
Let it over my head kind of thing.
So
it really means nothing to me, no.
Here's a question I have for you, right? Are there words that do offend you?
Well, they reckon a knacker is someone who collects, is a dead horse or something.
Yeah, it works. There used to be this thing called a knacker's yard.
A knacker's yard, yes.
And like, it was for, as far as I can tell, it was for, they'd use dead horses and they'd get stuff from the dead horses and they'd make different products, glue and all that type of stuff.
Well, I never really read deep into that stuff anyway in the first place, but I have heard the word once or twice, like in the line of about the dead horse and stuff, right? So as far as I'm concerned, if you're calling me that, then you're not referring to me, because I'm not a guy who deals in dead horses. Yeah,
just like you said before, innocent boy, which is a phrase that a lot of travellers use. An innocent boy, actually, what you're saying is, if you're innocent,
Yeah, but some travellers...
You're not guilty, you didn't do it.
Some travellers, yeah, and the word itself, innocent boy, so innocent man. Sure, like...
But I think what they're saying is that you're a bit simple, that you're a bit thick.
Yeah, well, they're probably, if they call me that, then they're telling the truth, then, aren't they?
And like if you act
so then again, I don't need to be offended, do I?
If you act all brave in a situation, they'll go, "Who's this innocent boy think he is?"
That kind of stuff. Yeah. It's more. The word is more used through sarcasm than anything else.
Yeah,
I haven't like seen people being very serious about.
I've seen people vexed. So
yeah,
vex is a word that's used in the traveller community when somebody gets really hot-blooded. I've seen travellers, and we've all seen them in the shout-out videos where they're using simple...
yeah, and the videos, yeah, but sure.
Fella.
Look, if people use lots of words on the videos, you see, as you said, on the YouTube.
I find them both hilarious, weird, and a bit scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Because some people are like quite serious about them.
What do you call them then? Shout-out videos?
Shout-out videos, yeah.
Is there any there in the settler community, you know?
Like, I think they might have come from the boxing world or WWE, the wrestling.
Like, we can't just say now that travellers get on videos, YouTube videos, and talk about each other and read for each other, because there's professionals out there doing it.
Absolutely.
Like
that's how they're selling fights. That's how McGregor's selling fights all around the world.
Yeah, there's your man, the two Logan brothers, yeah?
The Logans,
the Paul brothers, yeah. Look,
I'm blown away that you know who the Logans are.
Yeah, the words are, the two names sound like they're getting called backward. It was a Paul, Logan Paul.
And Jake Paul.
Yeah. So Paul is actually their surname.
Oh, okay.
But it is very confusing at times.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that, right? So these two guys get on the YouTube a lot. And now they're famous.
They're billionaire shout-outers.
They're billionaires, lads. And they're doing the same thing as travellers are doing.
Yeah.
They're getting on there and they're reading for other professionals.
So who's the tick here? Is it a traveller or these lads?
What does that mean? Does that mean the travellers are bad then? No, it doesn't.
It just means that maybe they haven't made money out of it.
Well, whatever. Like, apart from the money side of it, we're saying is that it's not just travellers that are doing this. You have top-ranked professionals doing it.
It's politicians doing it as well.
Well, there you go.
Never mind travellers on a. I'm going to do my traveller accent.
So now we can't look down
on a DVD.
So now we can't look down on the travellers, can we? Or we can't stag them over it.
We can't tell who the travellers are.
So there you go. So there's a small bit of defence for travellers, huh?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say, I asked you a question there. Let me see, can I think it was. Are there any words that offend you? That's what I wanted to know.
In what sense?
Like if there's if there's a slagging and someone says something, like innocent boy wouldn't offend you. The K word wouldn't offend you.
No.
But I'm telling you now, if I said certain words, I could offend you in a heartbeat.
Don't get me wrong, there is travellers that do get offended by that word.
Yeah.
I know there is. But as I said, it depends how personal they are about themselves, if you know what I mean.
I do, but
when I say personal,
it
depends.
Or a bit more.
Well, let's say, for instance, it depends how serious they take stuff.
Yeah, how serious they are, how sensitive they are, how easy offended they are.
Yes.
If the wind blows the wrong way, are they getting all angry and all, you know?
So we have people like that, but it doesn't mean they're bad people. Or maybe at times people maybe feel the need to defend themselves in certain things like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'd imagine if two travellers were slagging each other, and they use that word with each other, you don't hear a lot of it in the traveller. I have to say, in the traveller community themselves.
Yeah.
Just being honest about, right? You won't hear them call each other that name. But I'd imagine if they were slagging each other and they happened to use that word, like for instance myself now, I'm talking about myself here, right? If I was slagging with some of the lads, yeah, that'd be a brother, cousin, or whoever, just say, and say, for instance, he called me that word, I wouldn't be offended by it. I definitely wouldn't be offended by it.
It also depends on when and so.
Again, it's like two black guys calling each other black.
Yeah, but
now that's me saying that knacker word is acceptable. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but if I said to you,
I'm saying is,
Martin, you smelly knacker, that's a different conversation.
Well, I guess then I'd probably need a shower then, wouldn't I?
But you know what I mean? That's a different. It's my intention or the circumstance in which I say it.
Maybe that could be that. The chances are that would offend people more because you're adding other words onto that particular word. But I was on a roll there earlier on about. There maybe is some travellers who take the word personal, and maybe they have been called it, and maybe they taken it to the understanding that what they say, for instance, I'll just say if a settled person called of a traveller, right? maybe they're thinking, this is what he thinks of me. So in that sense, they're probably thinking in bad in that sense.
If a settled person
and
called
maybe
him a knacker, you
if
meant.
a settled person called a traveller a knacker,
Yeah.
right, and a traveller takes offence to it, maybe he's within his rights to take offence to it. Now, as I said, I don't be offended because I just let it blow off, like, you know what I mean?
I remember a fellow was talking to me and he said...
because I've been called all sorts of names and I've learned not to take it personally, you know what I mean?
I was talking to a fella about travellers.
Yeah.
And he was trying to make it out that he kind of knew what the score was, you know what I mean? And
With travellers?
Yeah.
Was he a settled lad?
No, he was a settled fella, yeah. And he said itinerants, he said gypsies, that's the word he said. He said, I've been up there with the gypsies. We're all cool, like.
Yes.
And I was going, I don't think you're up anywhere with anybody calling them gypsies and you're all cool.
Yeah.
Because you'd be sent home in an unhappy state.
Well, put it this way, in England, there's travellers in England.
Yeah.
And you've all heard it saying where travellers come from say through years and years back, yeah? So travellers are actually called gypsies in England. So I don't
call
think
themselves gypsies.
No, I don't think they're offended by being called gypsies.
Well, you had the TV show My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding.
Yeah, but again, as we mentioned this name there a few weeks ago as well, you have Tyson Fury, world champion.
King of the Gypsies.
He's called himself the Gypsy King.
The Gypsy King, yeah.
So I don't think there's any offence in that word gypsy.
Yeah, but if I went up to where you live and I said, get up out of that, you stupid gypsy, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, again, I wouldn't be offended by that because there's no reason to be offended by that.
Yeah.
Because the gypsy is let's say it's a tradition. The lifestyle that they live over there in caravans.
Yeah.
So you could call them English, basically. They live in caravans and is to have these horse-drawn caravans similar to the Irish travellers, but they just use a different word over there.
Yeah.
Gypsy.
Yeah, but look, I think in different places you can have different words that have different power, that have different strength or offence or meaning or whatever like that. You know what I mean? In different cultures. So in England, gypsy might be the right word to use, but I don't know in Ireland if the word gypsy would be used. I think if it was used, for example, if you were in the Dáil and you said, today we're going to talk about gypsies, I think there'd be uproar.
It is possible.
You know what I mean?
It is possible, but if the English traveller man is calling this to himself, if he's titling himself as a gypsy, then chances are there's no offence.
Yeah, in England.
In
Ireland it'll be different. If
the thing is,
one of the ministers, if the minister
for
for Traveller Affairs or whatever his name is stands up and he says, "Okay, we're going to change the whole thing now. It's not the Traveller Committee. It's going to be called the Gypsy Committee."
Yeah,
I think people would be soon to call him out on that, including travellers.
Yeah, it is possible. Yes.
Oh, a few episodes ago, I just remember this. There was a Mexican word for an American, and it wasn't amigo, it was gringo. Hey, gringo.
Yeah.
And that's the same as the traveller word for a countryman.
So is that word you're saying now in Mexican is an offensive word?
No, it's not. It's just going, anybody who's not Mexican is a gringo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we could be called the traveller and the gringo.
Right. So as a countryman, who do you think would use that word more often, a traveller or a countryman?
Which one?
The word there you're saying, the K word.
Knacker.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Settled people, country people would use it more. Sure, I've heard politicians using it. You know what I mean? I heard a politician describing people from Ballymun as Nicaraguans.
Nicaraguans.
So you know Nicaragua?
Yes.
As a country.
Is that what
Nicaragua
is
a country. He was saying those people are like Nicaraguans.
Yeah. He probably thought travellers still had no televisions. Wouldn't be able to see this.
He probably thought people from Ballymun couldn't read or write.
Yeah, that's right.
But they thumped the head off, maybe called them Nicaraguans in public.
I don't think he say face to face to them.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not saying it face to face to me anyway.
No.
And if he is, and he knows who he is, and I'll call him out.
I can be honest with you. If the likes of him now, if he was using that word through, which is ignorance anyway, without a doubt. If he's using that word through ignorance to hurt people's reputations or damage their whatever.
He done damage to his own.
This is what I'm trying to say to you. Yeah,
this fella's a politician and a doctor.
I know he would better apologise, wouldn't he?
You know what I mean?
But the point I'm trying to say to you is, if he was to, if for instance, if you were slagging me now and you call me that word, well, I know you're slagging then, right?
Yeah.
But if you were serious about it, personally, you wouldn't be offended by it.
Same with me. I'm kind of like that as well.
Right. I'm not speaking for every traveller. There is travellers that would be offended by it, and rightly so, because it all depends how they feel about it.
I used to be on stage. And
I'm not saying the word is allowed, or people should call travellers the knacker word you call it, because at the end of the day, if they're calling it with bad intentions. Yeah. So they're using that word to actually cause damage and probably intentionally offend the person that they're calling it to. Yeah. Maybe knowing that they're going to offend them. Do you understand?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know? Now, some people probably can walk away from that, but then you have people that won't walk away from it.
No, I think you'd be the type of person that could walk away from it, but you'd hold the person to account and go, hold on a minute here, let's own what we say. But there are people that just hear that word.
The chances are, if a person, I know I said earlier on, I wouldn't be offended by it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not speaking for everybody. I know there is travellers that would be offended by it. So look, probably maybe even close friends or relatives of my own might be offended about it, right? And I've also known travellers that have been offended about it. But as I said, they're fully within their rights to, because at the end of the day, you're still calling somebody out of their name, if you know what I mean.
So I'm gonna say something here, right, which might just take this on board, okay?
You're going to say it might offend me, is it?
Oh, I'm going to say this. If you know me and you respect me, and you know, if you know Martin or you respect Martin or you get to know them, I'm going to give you the time and space to reflect on whether or not you use the word knacker, what your intention is. If it's just something like if something, because I hear it used in the settled community, if somebody spills something all over their trousers and they go, "Oh, you knacker."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I'm aware of all that stuff.
But let's try for the next couple of weeks. If we say it, just after we say it, just go, you know what? I mightn't use that word anymore.
Yeah, but it is as I said, it is an offensive word to travellers because of the meaning of it.
Yeah, and because it puts one group of people higher up and another group of people lower down.
The chances are, if a person said to me, "Look, are you only a knacker?"
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'd be offended by it, but I'd like the opportunity to question them about it and ask them what is it that they really mean, or what do they see as a knacker, or even what do they see in a traveller. Put it that way, if it makes any sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sort of let's bring a meaning out of this word kind of thing, but bring sense to it at the same time, and maybe sort of shame them out of it for that sort of reasons.
Yeah, shaming them or just get them to have a think about it the half second after they say it. Like I've heard guards use it and all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they're talking about settled people.
Yeah.
Get up out of that, you smelly knackers.
They call it to yeast, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of your own medicine then, isn't it?
I know, yeah, very good, very good.
Probably the guards at this time are feeling sorry for the travellers, are they?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a foolish and silly and stupid word, being honest about it.
Oh, right. And so we're done with that.
If they know they're going to insult somebody, whatever word it might be, if you know you're going to offend somebody, don't use it. Simple as.
So then any word that has power like that, it's kind of the same.
I don't know. I can't say it has power. I don't know if it has power.
Well, as in one person is saying it to offend another person or put them down.
Yeah.
So they're putting themselves up. They think they're putting themselves up by putting this person down, but actually what they're doing is they're letting themselves down. That's right, 100%. So there's that's just a different way of looking at it. So if it's something you do, and I have said words we all have, if it's something you do and you're doing it because you want to put someone else down, check out yourself why you're doing that. Is it because you feel shit about yourself?
It could be a chance that the problem lies within themselves.
Yeah. Well, I think in those circumstances, all the problems stem from within the person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying in this that if you use the N word or the K word against somebody that they've never done anything wrong, but words are powerful.
So what words would say you said you know travellers all over the country, yeah?
Yeah.
Our previous podcast. What words would travellers call the settlement?
Innocent boy.
Right, go on, yeah. So this is a traveller now calling it to a settlement, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I'm trying to think of any other ones. See,
this is it, Dean. You don't be calling names, do
you? I find that travellers are a bit more respectful.
Well, if it's like this, if the you're making a good point there. If the settled community, and we're not talking about all settled community, okay?
Yeah.
We know there's some good people among the settled community, right? You think about it, if the settled community are actually calling the travellers names, to upset them, yeah, and we can think of a few. And we can't think of no names that the travellers are calling the settled community.
Other than
does that not make the traveller a better person, no?
Look, I wouldn't disagree with that statement. From my experience with travelling people, the majority of them, like if you put 100 traveller fellas up against 100 settled fellas, yeah. Now you can handpick the settled fellas because there's so much more, but I'm saying a broad range from ordinary decent people all the way up to gangster politicians.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And you got 100 traveller fellas.
Yes,
and you match them against each other. I think
there'd be a good bit of slagging, wouldn't there?
I think there'd be a good bit of slagging, but I think the traveller people might come off better in terms of how much they want to offend the other person.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the default mode of a traveller. I think sometimes the default mode of a traveller is, I might have said this before, on the back foot jabbing. So they look aggressive, but they're a little bit timid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they use that aggression as a defence mechanism. So
you reckon that the traveller gets called more names than the settlement? Yes.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah. That which way does the shouting or the slagging go? I'd say there's more slagging from settled to traveller than there is from
travellers. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you make of that, Dean?
I think it's really.
Are you not ashamed? Are you not ashamed of yourself? No.
Me, I don't represent. I definitely don't represent all settled people, all country people.
Yeah.
Just as you don't represent all travellers.
Well,
so I don't do the shame thing. I do Dean and the content of my character.
Well, we can't
my actions and words.
We can't speak for everybody, can we?
No, we can speak for ourselves.
We've said it before. We can't stop people from talking,
or being offended, or having fun, or slagging, or whatever.
Yes.
You know.
So you're back to your comedian for 10 years, Dean.
Go on.
What kept you going? Because you're very dry at times.
I know, yeah. Well, sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm a bit serious. But sometimes, especially if you put me on a stage in front of 200 or 300 people.
Do you just shiver?
And there's a microphone. I'll do more than shiver. I light the place up.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm really energised by that.
So did you do many shows in your 10 years? You must have done a lot of shows.
I've done enough. Like, I'd say in the first year, most comedians, because it's hard to get shows at the start. So most comedians might do 10, 20 shows.
Yes.
Which is like one every 2 weeks or something like that. That'd be quite enough.
Is that a lot of shows? It is.
That'd be for your first year, definitely. And then the next year you might double that and so on. So after a while you could be doing 3, 4, if you're in London, 5, 6, 7 shows a week.
Tell me, Dean, did you ever get to meet Des Bishop?
Yeah, I know Des really well, yeah.
He got married last week, you know.
He got married, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Married that girl, he's out in America.
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
He looks happy.
Good man, Des. And what do you think of Des?
Yeah, I think Des is
do you think he's a great comedian, yeah?
I think he's a good comedian. I don't think he's a great comedian. I don't think there's many Irish people are great comedians. I really like Jason Bourne. I think Jason Bourne, when you see him and you realise a lot of what he does is just off the cuff and improv.
I'd have to say again, I think Brendan Grace was a great comedian, seriously.
Yeah. So I wanted to say this
you can't be bad, Dean, and be on the one job for 50 years.
No, I think it's good. It just wouldn't be to my taste. Look, there's a lot of musicians are on the job.
There, isn't it?
There's a lot of musicians are on the job for 50 years, but it doesn't mean it's my taste.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I wanted to say when I was on stage.
What you're saying? You're jealous? Is that it?
Huh?
Are you saying you're jealous? Is that what it is?
No, I don't do jealousy. I don't have space in my heart for jealousy. Not at all.
Okay.
So I remember being on stage and
Right.
I'd get really kind of energized and excited, and I'd be calling people names when I wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah.
And I'd be just saying stuff like, go on, you mad bastard, and all
Are
doing
you
all that
saying
type
you
of
wouldn't
stuff.
know what you're talking about on stage?
Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes it'd just come out. The words would just come out.
At least you're admitting that. I want to tell you a few times, Dean, that sometimes
I just talk shit.
I think you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, and I
you're
was a
admitting
bit
yourself.
younger there, and I think I'm a bit more reserved now. You're slagging the shit out of me here. Well, Martin, I'll tell you what. If we go back to episodes 1 to 4, you were very quiet yourself there now.
That's
You know
right,
what I mean?
Dean.
You're starting to loosen up your belt
I
a bit.
was a learner, Dean. Now I passed my test. I have a full license.
Good learning, yeah. It's the only license you have.
Yeah,
Animal,
I had the L badge on the window there for a while.
Before I licked the window.
Yeah, and the N. I had the N one as well. What was that? Novice, is it?
I was going to say something else there.
No.
You had the K word on the side.
Well, you don't have the right.
You had the K letter on the side of the high eyes.
Yeah. So that's why you.
Oh, you have to go quiet there.
No,
now.
that's why it was all. That's why it was all, as you said, very slow starting off.
Yeah. I think I respect that because you were leaning into it.
I think I jumped into the deep end on the first podcast.
Absolutely, and I don't know many travellers that can swim.
And I think I made a fool of myself. Go on, Dean. Yeah. Well, I'm still around, so I must have swum way out.
Yeah. You're drowning me. You're drowning me with your love.
I must have swum out if I.
What's worse for you to take a compliment or a slagging?
Now we have any of them. I don't mind. Now we have one traveller here who knows how to swim.
The only one in the country.
Yeah. So Dean, back to your tenure. This is 3 times asked the same question.
Go on.
And you seem to be wiggling your way out of it.
Yeah.
So now I'm beginning to think, Dean, did you even do stand-up comedy for 10 years?
It's all a figment of your imagination, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's just I don't believe it right now. You have to convince me, you see.
So I started doing the clubs around town, the International Bar and a few other clubs around town, and you just slowly get into it.
Well, they all the ones you're barred out now, yeah.
They're all the ones I'm barred out now.
Yeah.
I actually set up a comedy club in Ballymun in the Access Theatre called the House of Fun Comedy Club because it was Ballymun, the House of Fun.
What were you getting young lads into do comedy, is it?
No, we were getting the likes of Des and Jason and all that.
Right.
Jason Bourne and all the comedians from around the country.
I want to talk about Des in a few minutes, okay?
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I kind of see that when you slid his voice in there.
No, what I want to do is...
His ears will be burning off now. He's on his honeymoon.
No, I don't have a lot bad to say about him. He's a good comedian.
Yeah.
But I know she changed colours when I talk about your friends.
No, that's not. That wouldn't be. That wouldn't be true.
I think it is. Dean, I'm here looking at
anybody who's an adult is big and bold enough to defend themselves. Yeah.
Right. Des Bishop, did he ever slag travellers?
Absolutely. I think
he did.
There wouldn't be many people he didn't slag.
No, but he actually knew a lot of travellers, didn't he?
I think he did.
He done a show there a while back. It's about 6 or 7 years ago now, probably.
Yeah.
Where he went up and down the country, and he sort of trained some travellers into being comedians.
So that was the one I was involved in.
So then, was that right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not a traveller, but he done it with
I
7
didn't
people
see you,
as well.
Dean. Where were you?
Were
you behind the curtain? Yeah.
They had a creative.
Where's Dean? Is Dean behind the curtain?
Control.
Get him out.
Just like I can edit some of your stuff out, they edited me out.
That's brilliant. I'm glad you, because you're going to be editing a lot of me out. I can tell you that for sure.
I'll tell you now. Yeah, so I done that with a couple of lads from Ballymun. It was a bit of crack.
Right, very good.
And on the back of it, I gigged
How long
for 10
did it go
years.
on for altogether, that part? Say
I think Erwin was the longest one because
thing.
they'd done the pilot. The pilot is like the first episode, and it was like, I think it was in Ballymun for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
And then in other communities, we went down to Knocknaheeny and all, he was there for a week.
Yes, I remember that part where Des Bishop went to Knocknaheeny and he was getting the lads in there, and he was like, as I said again, he was teaching them to be comedians.
Yeah,
it was actually good crack.
Doing little workshops like that.
Yeah, that's right, small things. So had you a big part in that, Dean? You had?
Yeah, well, the one he done at Ballymun, I think there was 5 or 6 of us, and then when he edited it out, they took 2 of us out of it.
Yes.
Because it was the pilot, and when you had 6 over the show, you were trying to get to know 6 people, so I think they made the decision, we'll just shorten this down a little bit. Yeah, now, it was a little bit of a pain in the hole, or a little bit upsetting at the time, but I was young, it was like 15 years ago probably.
So who was upset? You, is it?
It was a little bit.
Why were you upset? Because you weren't drawn in?
Well, I'd have to tell everybody. I'm
I'm
going to be on the telly, and then all of a sudden it gets aired, and they're all ringing me up going, "You're not on the telly yet, so." I was ringing Des and all going, "You told me I was going to be on the telly."
So, did you and Des fight?
We had a little thing, but it's all love.
So was it his choices to put you back, basically put you aside?
I don't know if it was his or the producers, but it must have been his a little bit.
So it's obviously you weren't stealing the show because you didn't know how to tell jokes. Is that right?
Well, actually, surprisingly
it'd be different
enough,
if you were stealing the show and they said, "Dean, hold it for a second. You got to take the back seat here."
Well, you'll have to ask.
Then you might say, "Look, you got what?"
You'll have to ask this. That.
I'm getting that impression, Dean. Why am I getting the impression? You, what you're telling me, I'm going by what you're telling me here. He put you. First of all, he didn't call you out.
He didn't.
And then when he called you out,
what, he didn't pull me. He didn't pull me out of the show because I was shy anyway.
No.
No.
But that's you telling. That's you telling the
that's
story.
That's my side of the story. That's why I said ask him.
So we have to see that
He did generously enough give me a couple of shows when he was doing Vicar Street and all that, which is an amazing experience.
He took you on the shows, did he?
Yeah. If anybody in this world, before you die, if you get the chance to stand on stage and even introduce somebody or even stand there for 5 minutes and talk,
is it?
It's an amazing experience.
So how come you didn't stick with it then?
I've done it for 10 years and then I just got into other stuff. You know what I mean?
You didn't get through out, did you?
Say that again?
You didn't get through out, no?
I didn't get kicked out.
Did you get kicked out?
Well, I've done 2 sold out shows in Edinburgh.
Did you?
Yeah, which is the largest comedy festival in the world.
Very, very good.
So
was it just you or was it 10 more comedians?
There was another 50 guys behind me.
So do you reckon these boys carried you?
These were they were the heavyweights. I was the lightweight.
So what you're saying is you got a minute at the end and that was it?
That was it. They put me on right at
well,
the
at
end.
least you can always say,
just to close the curtains.
So you were 10 years working on this.
10 years doing it.
And finally you get to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And then there's 50 lads goes on before you. And they give you 1 minute. And what did they say? They draw the curtains.
He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, good night."
I really feel sorry for you, Dean, honestly.
I think you should do...
No, I'm still proud you have to say...
I think you should do some stand-up comedy.
I'm still proud you have to say that you were in Edinburgh, okay? So at least you have that part for the rest of your life, yeah?
Oh, yeah, let loose tonight.
Now, come here, tell me something, right?
And the belt is off.
Back to Des Bishop. He's 46 years old. And I want to know, is he still
doing... How do you know he's 46 years old?
Come here. Is he still doing stand-up comedian?
He definitely is, yes.
He is, yeah.
He just finished a show called Me and Mama about his mammy. His mammy passed away. I'm not sure how she passed away. Anyway, go and see the show. But he's still doing it, yeah.
Is it his dad or his mum is actually Irish? I know he's Irish American, okay? But he was actually born in America.
Cork, as far as I'm aware.
But he was actually born in America, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
But anyway, I was wondering that he's classed himself as Irish American, which he is. He has that strong accent, hasn't he?
He still has, in New York, I don't know if his accent would be as strong as, or wherever he's from, New Jersey or New York.
No, I think he's...
When he goes back, it's a softer accent.
I was going to say that. I think being the comedian, he sort of has the changes of accent wherever he goes, can't he?
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Yeah, a bit of, I think... I think
what do you call it? Transventriloquist. What's that word? He can change the...
A transit, I think you're trying to say.
No, not a transit.
Are you missing the van?
We're not talking about a traveller's van, Dean. We're talking about
were you going to say transvestite?
A transventriloquist. No, not that.
A ventriloquist.
What?
A
transventriloquist. You can't even say it,
No, you go on.
Listen for a second. I'm the guy here.
A transventriloquist, is it?
You listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
I'm the guy here.
Only.
I'm the guy
Martin,
here.
the transventriloquist.
I'm the guy here with no education. That's why I'm asking you. So can you please tell me what the word is?
Your lack of education.
Tell me what the word is. Go on.
Finish
school at 12 years of age. What do you expect?
Trilla.
A ventriloquist.
Very good.
Right. That's not a word I'd use every day. I wouldn't use that word every day, so I knew the word but couldn't pronounce it right.
I'd use the word shy talk.
But then I'm allowed that. I'm a traveller, so I'm allowed to not to be able to pronounce.
Some pony.
I'm allowed to not be able to pronounce a word right, okay?
No, you're not.
You not know?
Are you an educated man or not?
No, I don't think so.
Are you not?
No, how would I be educated? I left school at 12 years of age.
Yeah, but that's skilled education. I think you're wise beyond your years. I know you're 50, Dean, but you are wise beyond your years.
Yeah, but if I was, I wouldn't be sitting here with you, would I? In this studio. Doing a podcast with a countryman that I don't even like.
I think you're the one who needs this more than me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
You can't not full of yourself now, Dean, aren't you? Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, we have what we call your proud Dean, is it?
Humble honesty.
Humble Dean, huh?
Yeah.
Dean, the guy that eats all the sugar, is that it?
Come here. Any nicknames or slaggings for you? People use?
Nicknames for me? I don't have nicknames.
Like when somebody was saying, do people just call you Martin?
They just call me Martin, yeah, that's good enough.
It wouldn't be like...
It's actually even too good for me.
Bullet Eye or anything like that.
No, what would they call me Bullet Eye?
Because there's some great names.
Why would they call me Bullet Eye?
Because travellers have amazing slagging names.
Yeah, but that's the stupidest name I've ever heard, to tell you the truth.
Teetabix.
Huh?
I called you a big silverback ape last week.
I've never heard that one. Dean, hold for a second. I'm 12 stone weight, and you call me silverback ape.
You're 12
what
stone.
What the heck is going on with
your left
you?
leg is 12 stone.
What's going on with you? Are you serious? I think the only problem has the eye problem now is yourself.
Go on.
You're saying I'm a silverback ape. Far from that.
Martin.
Anyway.
I'm going to put a photograph up of you.
You went from
hold
one
on
thing
a
to
minute.
another.
I'm going to call you. I'm going to put a photograph up of you that I took of you
and you're destroying.
a couple of weeks ago when you were getting your hair cut. And I'm telling you what, if people don't think you look like a silverback gorilla, well, blind in one ear.
I don't have a photo, and I don't remember you.
I have the photograph, Martin. I have the photograph, and if the people want it, they let us know, and we put it out.
No, we won't.
We can't be all doing fashion shoots like when you were doing the census. When you were doing the census.
Dean, you only put pictures out when you have makeup on. Is that right? With your makeup on.
Back to transvestites now, are you?
No, I'm not talking about that. Absolutely not.
Ventriloquist?
No, ventriloquist. The other thing about it is, you're so stupid. You put your makeup on even when your beard is all stubbled out through it. Anyway.
Come here, traveller names.
Nick, you were talking about now. You went from one thing to another day. You put me off the track there, yeah?
What are we going on?
Nicknames. Have you a nickname?
I have a white eyebrow, so the kids would call me. My email address.
Serious?
Yeah, my email address has white browser.
Well,
so
you're not too bad. You have someone on your side. You have David Gray. He's white ladder.
Very good.
So we have white ladder, white eyebrow.
Or some of the lads at Ballymun call me Badger Eye.
Yeah.
Dino. That's it.
So they basically call you all these stupid names.
Some people call me Dino. I find that weird, as in like I'm
Deanie Boy.
I'm not far off.
Called Deanie Boy.
Deanie Boy is what Martin calls me. I'm not far off 50, and when people call me Dino, it's funny.
So it makes you feel young, does it?
Deanie Boy is actually good.
But does it make you feel young when people call you Dino?
Dino, yeah, something like that's weird.
Well, Dean, you better tell them not calling them Morty then, because them days are gone.
Them days are over. Hey, you're always the one going, I'm not old.
Brendan Gray said...
Martin's 50, right? He's losing a bit on top. I'll put a photograph
Brendan Gray said when he good luck lads, he said my school days are over. Well, I'm saying to you now, Dean, good luck lads, my school days are over.
Now, Martin is convinced that he's not old, right? Now,
Dean,
I'm leaning into my the end of my 40s.
You're slagging me now, Dean, right? But the thing about it is, any man who thinks he's old at 50 years old, 50 years young, that's the best way to describe it.
You could do it going to the gym or doing a couple of weights or something like that.
Yeah, I could do it losing 10 or 12 stone. I know that.
10 or 12 stone? Sorry. I'm only 10 or 12 stone.
Sorry, Dean, I meant to say 10 or 12 pounds.
You wouldn't have 10 or 12 euro in your pocket.
No, I wouldn't. I don't have that.
So here, funny traveller names. Like there's Michael Swinney and all those types of names.
But that's a name, that's not a nickname.
I know, but when a settled person hears it...
If you say Michael and you say Winnie, it's two names, it's not nicknames.
But when a settled person hears it, we think that's like, they just made that up.
Is that right?
It's Winnie's Michael, or...
So you find that funny then,
That's very funny,
because of the two names combined together sort of thing.
Yeah. Because there's so many Michaels that we have to say, well, which Michael is it? Well, that's Winnie's Michael.
Well, I tell you what, it is a way, I'm sure this is in the settled community as well now, we're not just talking about travellers here, that nicknames, like... There's a lot of, like I'm asking you, is there a lot of...
look, we're in Dublin. Everybody's name ends in an O. Anto, Charlo, Flicko, Beano, Chippa, Rasher.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Sausage. I remember here, we rang up...
And you tell me the travellers have no education. And they call everybody's name with an O.
I'm not saying we had no education, we just had no food.
Is that just in Ballymun?
We were calling people all the
Is that
food
just in Ballymun, or where is it? Or is it just in your world?
No, it'd be Dublin.
Like, I know you live in Malahide.
Like working class Dublin.
Yeah?
You know, it'd be all the O's.
We'll call it Ballymun and Malahide. What Malahide? Ballyhide.
Hey, Ballyclava.
You come from Ballyhide to Ballymun?
From Ballymun to Portmarnock.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So is it Malahide or Portmarnock down in your big houses then?
Well, I couldn't be giving you my air code. But
I'm not looking for your air code.
If you come down to Portmarnock,
don't worry about me, Dean. I don't rob houses. I'm okay. I'm good.
You just driving down the road on the back of the trailer.
Oh, Lord. It's Malahide, Dean, is it?
Portmarnock.
Portmarnock. Yeah. Wow, Dean lives in Portmarnock.
Yeah.
And you actually travel from Portmarnock to Ballymun. And
at least one of us has travelled.
So, what kind of darkness do you see in Ballymun when you arrive in Ballymun?
I actually see a lot of love in Ballymun. That's the difference. It
is that why you keep
heart.
coming back to Ballymun? Yeah,
I love it. I'm fascinated by it. I'm intrigued by it. It holds a special place in my heart. I get energised coming
Is it
here.
because everybody says hello to you? Is that it?
I know everybody. Does
But is that the reason everybody says hello to you?
Like, there's 25.
So how many hellos do you get in
25,000 people here. I would say I know 27 of them.
Right, that's good.
27,000.
Right, how many hellos do you get in Portmarnock if you're in Portmarnock, tell me?
I get a few now. Like, you go down the beach, you get a couple.
Don't worry, we're not running down your neighbours or your family in Portmarnock, okay?
Yeah, in the estate where I am, it's a little bit middle classy. You'd get a few hellos, but down on the beach and all that, everyone would be friendly.
I heard that in Portmarnock that they nearly charge you for.
You're trying to get a slagging in here.
No, I'm not getting a slagging, Dean.
I'm just shutting it
Dean,
down.
you're the comedian here. I'm not the comedian, okay?
Well, you're funny.
And
looking.
I'm saying to you, right? Listen for a second, right? I'm saying to you, Dean, is it true that you actually have to pay for a hello in Portmarnock?
Yeah.
That's how yup they are, is it?
That's how. What do you say?
But when you're in Ballymun,
what's the word? Yup.
Yeah, but when you're in Ballymun, you get these hellos free.
For free, yeah.
So is that why you spend so much time around Ballymun with the people in Ballymun? Here, based around the shopping centres.
See, the people in Ballymun have nothing but love and community.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So why did you leave Ballymun then and buy a big house in Portmarnock?
Didn't buy a big house. Went to live in my parents' apartment.
Yes.
So that was it. They went over to Spain. And
so basically, you're getting free living in your parents' apartment.
Happy days. Here, you're getting free living up in the bay, up in Poppentry, up in Ballymun.
Are you serious? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, look at there's nothing wrong with that, Dean, is there? There is. There's a lot wrong with that, honestly.
What is it?
Free living. We can't be looking for free living.
No.
We have to lend some little hand, Dean, or we have to do some bit of work, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't just expect everything to come to us. Like,
well, we can expect it, but it mightn't come.
No. So,
you know what I mean? If you don't get your finger out,
yeah,
you'll be left with a brown envelope.
That's true, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So come here, I want to go back into some of the names. So some great names.
Nicknames.
Just names.
Like Deanie Boy.
Not that in the travelling community, like...
does Deanie Boy sound like... it doesn't sound like a traveller's name, does it?
What?
It doesn't sound like a traveller's name, does it?
Deanie Boy.
Deanie Boy.
No.
Does it sound like a black person's name?
No.
Do you not think so?
No.
So what does it sound like?
Deanie Boy, it's my name.
Does it sound like someone from Portmarnock? It does.
No, it just sounds like the coolest fucker you'd ever meet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like it, but it's not real.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage.
Yes. It's Deanie Boy.
I can't really say it the way you say it.
Can
Deanie Boy.
No, because you're hearing it. You're not actually pronouncing it.
I just call myself Dean.
Nicknames again, Dean. What sort of weird or strange nicknames do you know of?
I know a young fella in Cabra called Seatbelt.
In the country clan, the Countryman's clan.
I know a young fella in Cabra called Seatbelt.
Yes, Seatbelt.
Yeah, that's his name.
Now, why was he called Seatbelt?
He probably was out joyriding or something.
And why would it still call him Seatbelt?
Because put your seatbelt on.
Put your seatbelt. Yeah. So could it be a case where he wasn't wearing the seatbelt?
Probably, yeah.
And he was getting told to wear it all the time, was he?
Yeah, get in there.
Do you not know any background to that, Dean? No, I know a story told that. No,
I'll find that out.
You're a fairly intelligent lad, Dean, and I'd like
Seatbelt actually
does.
Hopefully, he still does it. He runs like a horse and carriage in town.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, shout out to Seatbelts. Yup, the camera.
Shout out to Seatbelt. So, you actually know him, do you?
That's the first shout out we done. Shout out to Des Bishop.
Yeah, shout out to Des Bishop, huh? Come and stag us, Des.
Shout out to Eileen Flynn.
Yeah, very good.
Eileen actually, I sent Eileen a message saying, I haven't told you this, Martin, yet, so don't get offended, that we're going to do a podcast.
I told you, don't get offended.
I told her the name of the podcast, and she said to me, would you not, you see the way on the logo we have a house and a caravan?
Yes.
She said, would you call it a trailer? And I said, no, the fella who's doing it with me calls it a caravan.
Yes, it's a caravan.
And then she said, would you not say traveller person?
I'll tell you what, a trailer now, at this, not there's a big difference, like I'm just saying, simply, she has a point on that, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The old word for caravan was a trailer.
Absolutely.
So she's making a good point on it.
Yeah.
But in today's world, traveller and countryman would call a trailer something that you hook onto the back of the car and that's something that you throw work onto, like.
Very good.
Say you throw your wheelbarrow onto, your shovel and out to do a bit of gardening and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So that would be, we call it a bogey. The old word would be a bogey. We're not talking about you now, Dean.
Yeah.
We're talking about something with two wheels.
There's one of us bogey here.
We're not talking about you, Dean, right?
There's one of us bogey here. It's not you.
We're saying about something with two wheels and a drawbar, which is a tow bar, yeah?
Yeah.
Hook it onto the car.
Oh, I have a great one.
And tow along.
I have a great one. Hold on. A few traveller jokes, but first of all,
Dean, don't start there. There's no one to separate us now. I'm telling you now.
No, I'm going to do it. You won't stop me. Eileen also suggested that we would say, instead of a traveller and a countryman, we'd say a traveller person and a countryman. And I just thought there was too many words in it. You're a traveller.
Yeah, appreciate the advice Eileen has given us.
That's what I said to her.
And great respect to her for that.
And if we're ever going to think about changing it, we'll
No, I don't think we're going to think about changing it, Dean. I think we're going past that line now, are we?
We're done.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but it's nice for someone to give their opinions on that because...
Well, it shows a little bit of interest and that they're thinking about it.
It does, yeah. And also, it's sometimes other people's opinions are great. But what I noticed about you, Dean, you're not a great lad for listening to people's opinions, are you?
What did you say?
It's all about you, like, Dean, me. Why are you like that, Dean?
Is there someone else speaking?
Martin is speaking.
So here, I was getting all excited there, and there's a few traveller jokes. And I've said this to you before, so I'm just going to say them. What's a traveller's...
Whoa, Dean,
I'm going to say it.
Let me know what you are first before you...
No, I'm going to put them out. If you don't like them, we'll edit them and it'll be just a blank space.
Oh, go ahead.
What's a traveller's favourite bar?
I think I heard of something before.
A tow bar.
A tow bar.
Yeah. What's a traveller's...
That's on the caravan, yeah?
Yeah. What's a traveller's favourite key?
I don't know.
A pie key.
A pie key?
Yeah. Now that might be offended. Some people might be offended by the word pie key.
Now you're getting tough, Dean. Go on.
I have loads of them, but I feel...
Dean, all you got to do is apologise to the people you're saying this to now.
Anybody gets offended by that, it was a joke, and I really apologise.
Yes, nice one, Dean.
But if you're a traveller and I had the banter with you and I said that joke to you and you laughed, fair play to you. And if you didn't,
yeah, go on.
You know what I mean?
Says you, I hope I don't bump into you.
I hope I don't meet you down at Portmarnock Beach. And if I do, give us a hug. Because if we take ourselves too serious, sure, we might as well just check out, you know what I mean?
Well, if you're swimming in Portmarnock Beach,
yeah,
and you see 20 travellers coming across the hill, then you know what it's for, don't you? Now you know what it's for. Because you know the jokes that you're making, yeah.
That's not funny.
I know that's why I said it.
Were you trying to say the travellers are aggressive?
No, Dean, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic.
You're being ventriloquist.
I know it wasn't funny. That's why I said it.
You're being a ventriloquist. You're talking out your hole.
Yes.
Oh, that was very good.
Right, come on, go ahead. You were saying something stupid there, and I didn't get the end of it. What was it?
So what I want to know is, there's other names that you know. Like, you know travellers, I would imagine, in Ireland and England. And some of them have to have funny names that most people wouldn't hear.
A lot of travellers have a lot of... But see, the thing about it is, Dean, I already asked you twice.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what nicknames the settlement has, the Countryman, yeah? As you being a countryman, you said you know 27,000 people in Ballymun.
Go on.
Are you telling me, out of 27,000 people, you can't even tell me 7 nicknames?
Well, I told you Sparky. Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that about 10 times
There's
already.
Seatbelt, but he's from Cabaret.
Go on.
There's loads of lads I grew up with.
So basically, you still know 27,000 people.
Hold on.
And you pick someone from Cabaret.
Yeah, but it's a really good name. There's a fella from Finglas I know called Snot. But I grew up with young fellas, and they had great names. Like, one time, I remember ringing up a radio show, and I was just calling out all these lads. Can you say hello to? And I listed them all off.
You were looking for a shout out to them, basically.
Yeah, like a shout out. Can you say hello to Egga, Chippa, Puddin, Rasher?
What was our breakfast?
It was a whole of breakfast. That's
you were
what
actually asking them. Was the morning breakfast show? What was it?
It was the morning breakfast show. Early AM. But that's what all these lads were called. It was deadly. There's Eggar. Me brother's nickname is Eggser. My other brother's nickname when he was a kid was Pidzer.
So what's Eggser, like short for egg or long for egg?
Or something like that, yeah.
Well, it sounds like Eggser, so... But you're using the Dublin slang again, where the zur is at the end of it.
Like a zur, yeah. Padzer.
Like Yazzer.
Yazzer, very good.
Your man does the deliveries there, Yazzer, yeah.
Very good.
Then we have Deanzer. Is your Deanzer, is that it?
Is there a Deanzer?
Sorry, Deanie or Dino, is it?
Deanie boy.
Deanie boy. So, nicknames. Yeah, you didn't tell me a lot of nicknames, Dean, honestly.
Flicker.
For a guy that knows like so many people.
Fredo.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, as you said earlier on, a lot of the Dublin names, probably 50% of Dublin names have an O at the end.
Oh, here we go.
What's all
that
about?
My dad had a mate down in East Wall in
Sherry
Street.
Is it?
My dad had a name.
Your Dao.
My dad.
Sorry,
yeah.
your Dao.
My dad's nickname was Bonky. There you go.
Yeah?
Bonky. But that's his name. That's his name around Sherry Street. He had a mate called the Black Arrow because he was good at playing darts.
The Black Arrow?
Yeah.
Very good.
He was from down East Wall, Sherry Street. He hung around with the Hen Lawless.
Hen, yeah.
And Fish Boland. So the Hen, the Fish, Bonky, the Black Arrow. These were all the names that my dad had.
Two of them names actually travellers have.
Is it what?
Yeah, Fish. I know a guy called Fish.
Oh, very good.
It'd be like a second cousin of mine. and then say the other one, hen, basically.
Hen, yeah.
Does I know?
Hen's a good one.
I know people who are called that by a nickname. Yeah.
Your hen that's what I would call your girlfriend. Is that your hen?
Is that your hen? Is it?
Yeah, like Henry the Third.
So where did the bird go to then?
Henry the Third.
What's Henry the Third got to do with it?
Okay, it's working backwards from the word board. So board.
Dean, honestly, I don't understand that.
Listen.
You need to
slow
explain
right
this to
down
me.
for you educated fella. Board.
Yes.
Henry the Third.
Yes.
Hen.
It doesn't make an ounce of sense.
Yeah, well, honestly. It's kind of like rhyming slang.
I don't know.
Oh, so are you saying Cockney rhyming slang makes sense?
I know you're acting like a Tranveloquist now, but it's not working. I can tell you that now, it's not working, right? So what you just said there is a lot of absolutely.
You were trying to course there, but you couldn't say it. You were trying to say bollocks.
No, I wasn't trying to say that.
Would you say that word?
Dean, I don't want to say that word. The thing about it is, why would I say? I'm going to
leave it in.
Do I use inappropriate words? I don't need to use them. Okay.
Very good.
If you get me angry, I'm going to use some words. Okay. Then you won't.
You're like the Hulk, are you?
Yeah, I'm like the Hulk. He changed colours. I change words.
You'll change faces.
Yeah. So
so traveller names. You have the Black Arrow.
They're not traveller names. You said
fish. Sorry, fish and hen.
Fish would be, as I told you earlier on, a third cousin of mine. Me own, say, I'll tell you now, there's a lot of travellers' nicknames, good ones though, some good ones.
Yeah.
But I can't really think of a lot of them right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know 27,000 people, do you know what I mean?
How many travellers would you know?
Be honest with you, if I knew 27,000 people, right?
Who?
I would at least pick out 1,000 nicknames.
How many travellers do you know? Don't try and turn this back on me because you can't think of traveller names. You're very good at that, reverse psychology.
Yeah.
How many travellers would you know?
Well, literally hundreds of travellers.
Yeah.
Literally hundreds
Who's
of
the
travellers.
biggest traveller you know?
And when you say the biggest...
Like the remember they used to
have
this
thing... Are you talking about height or biggest
Remember they used
name?
to have this thing, the King of the Travellers?
The King of the Travellers.
What was all that about?
I don't know what it's all about, to be honest with you. I'd say you probably know more, Dean, from watching the YouTube channels.
It's probably, I think it stems from the
fighting. You probably gather more from that, you know what I mean?
From the
because you're the kind of guy that picks up all this stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, it's interesting.
See, the thing about it is, as a traveller, I don't need to pick up all this.
Yeah.
I know a certain amount of it. You know what I'm saying? But as a countryman, which is yourself, yeah? If you have an interest in that kind of stuff, then you're inclined to dig more into it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean now?
So traveller culture would be exotic to me, but it wouldn't be exotic to you.
Well, if that's the way you think, that's a lovely word you want to use for it, yes.
You know what I mean? Like you would be into stuff that I mightn't be into because it's unique to you.
I'll give you
it's interesting.
I'll give you a small example of it, right?
Yeah.
For instance, are you interested in travellers' lifestyles, basically? You are, aren't you?
I'm fascinated by them as a people, as a community, as a culture.
Yeah, but what we were saying is on the other shows, you're interested in the culture, basically.
Yeah, culture, yeah.
Well, that means you're interested in travellers' lifestyles then.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
I don't see any other way out of it.
Maybe the way you're using the word lifestyle is different for me.
In what way? Go on, tell me. I'm lost.
For me, a lifestyle
Sometimes
is that this
fella's
living rich and living large, and it's all about the big cars and all that. I'm not interested in that lifestyle.
No, but
I am interested in the day-to-day, what travellers do, how they get on with each other. You know, what's it like being Martin? What's your day like? You know, how do you see the world? What's the world like looking at it through your eyes? I'm really interested in that.
Such as in a traveller world, is that what you're saying?
Like, let's say me and you walk through town tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
You see the world in a different way than I do.
How? In what way, Dean? I don't think so.
Well, let's say we go into a building or a restaurant.
Yes, go
on.
I
mean, I've gone into buildings or restaurants or public buildings or government buildings or something like that with travellers, and how they see that building is different from the way I see it. How they.
Are we talking about a building here, Dean?
Yeah.
Are people in the building? What are we talking about?
Probably both.
Remember I told you before you're a very bad lad for explaining things in the way I want to hear them, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I'm saying this now again to you. You need to explain.
So let's say...
I'm being sarcastic with you, Dean, okay?
I know. I'm trying to get an example of it. Let's say I went into a police station.
Yes.
With a traveller fella.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
My experience is that the traveller fella would feel differently and see the police station kind of differently than I would.
Not really, no.
Or if I went into a police station with a middle class person and a working class person, the working class person would have a different perception of the police station.
In what way?
I think they would be.
Are you saying travellers would be nervous about police?
They could be nervous or a bit of fear.
I don't know, but I don't think so, Dean. No, it depends if you have a criminal record, or if you have previously, or if you have bench warrants out for you. How do I know all about these things?
You're giving the game away.
I'm giving away myself here now, right? No, seriously. If I went into a guard station, the most I've probably ever been in there is just to produce insurance.
Yeah.
Produce a license. I don't feel any different about that. I think that's a normal. It's a It's a normal part of society, basically.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing in life. Same as I'm sure if a settlement is stopped by the Gardaí and he hasn't got his insurance with him or whatever it might be, he gets 10 days to produce them, and he goes there and produces them, and a traveller has to do the same thing, apply to the same rules basically. So I don't feel any different about that.
I think what I'm trying to say is, okay, here's an example. If you're in America and you're white,
yes,
you see the world differently than if you are black.
If you're in America.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It still explains nothing to me. In what way?
So let's say you're a black man driving through LA. Yeah?
Yeah.
And for example, you get pulled over.
Did you ever hear that song, I'm a Jamaican in New York? Have you heard that? I'm an alien.
I'm illegal.
Alien. I'm a Jamaican in New York.
Very good.
You didn't ruin that song there, honestly. As I told you before, stick with the day job, then, please.
What I'm trying to say is, I think that's a good example. I'm probably not explaining it properly, though.
You never were a good explainer, were you, Dean?
Well,
I know you a couple of months now, and I'm having the same problem with you. And I think it's to me that's going to have to educate you, Dean. I don't have any education.
This is your sarcasm.
If I have a small bit of intelligence, I'm going to try to pass on to you. How about that? Is that okay with you, Dean? Yeah.
Martin, I know your second name is Stokes, but don't try and backpedal. Martin, backstroke.
Go on, backstrokes, yeah. Backstrokes.
So do you have any friends or cousins with weird interesting names?
With weird interesting names, yeah. I do have friends and cousins. I have a few uncles with strange names. You're going to laugh, though.
Go on.
Remember I told you about the breakfast earlier on, yeah?
Yeah.
All your friends, yeah? Basically, my father's name, right? God rest him, yeah? His name was Flakes.
Flakes, yeah.
Flakes, yeah. So basically, that name carries on, you know that? Because in a sense where, like, if people know me now, they know me as Flakes is Martin.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's very simple, isn't it?
Flakes is Martin.
So the name sort of moves along.
Now, I've never heard you say that.
No, you didn't, because you never talked about this.
Yeah.
So you didn't even... I'll tell you a good one, will I?
Go on.
I know this man, right? He's actually 75 years old, right? He's a little bit more, he's about 77 now he is, yeah. And he's, you could call him a holy man, right?
Yeah. Very,
very religious man. He does a lot in the church, right? And he's a very, very good person, right? The first time I ever met him, right? I was actually selling a car, yeah? Watch. And I was on the phone to the guy that wanted to come and look at the car, yeah? So I was describing to him where the car was, basically. I was outside, or say that on the caravan side where I live.
Yeah.
It was outside this up around the housing area. Say where the settled people are, and the houses just up past us, yeah? So we parked the car up there, yeah? We wouldn't put cars on the site because generally people won't come and look at them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. We'll talk about that in another episode, right?
It's not a big deal. We're used to it now, okay? But anyway, apart from that, so I was actually going up the road, and there was this guy parked in on the side of the road. So I stopped to ask him, I said, if you don't mind me asking, sir, are you here to look at the car? No, he said, what car is it? So it wasn't the guy who was looking for the car.
Yeah.
So we struck up a conversation, yeah?
Yeah.
And he was actually doing the rosary. His rosary beads in his hand.
Oh, very good, yeah.
It was nice, yeah. And he was actually doing he said, I'm just sitting here, he said, doing my rosary. But as it was to be, I do get all these, say these holy pictures printed up, yeah? and they'll pass them around to people on the churches and the travellers and everywhere like that, yeah?
Lovely.
That's something I do a long, long time, yeah? But anyway, as it was to be, in our conversation, I asked him, say, would you like a nice picture, basically? So I gave him some prayer cards and this lovely picture that I had, which I was passing around. I was actually passing it around to all the traveller community at the time, yeah? But I was also given to settled people as well, because in the churches that I used to go, that I do go to, basically, yeah?
There's a mix of people, yeah.
Yeah, this is going back like 5, 6, maybe 6 or 7 years now, I would say, right? Anyway. So we got into the conversation anyway, and next when I said to him, said, you this is where I was starting off, you were the guy with the car, but he wasn't the guy with the car. So I got to actually know him then, right? But the moral of the story was
his name, Flakes.
His name, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. The moral of the story was that when we got to know each other, basically,
yeah,
I used to meet him then down in Santry, probably sometimes every 2 weeks or maybe every 3 weeks.
Oh, like, so you struck up a bit of a...
We sort of struck up a friendship, if you like.
Over.
But he was a very nice old man, he was, right?
Lovely.
But I used to meet up with him to pass him some more of the pictures, because I used to get so many printed up every now and again.
Yeah.
Down in Reeds, down there, what do you call it?
Nassau Street.
Yeah. But that was okay anyway. So this particular time, right, I hadn't seen him for, say, a few weeks, yeah? And next, my phone rings. He said, Flakes. So, yeah, so what's the story, Stephen? How's things? So I said, I said, Stephen, where'd you hear that? I'm over here in in Lourdes. I'm over here in Lourdes. And there's a couple of traveller women over here, he said. So, yes. I said, who are they, Stephen? They're from London. They said they know you.
No.
So, give me their names, Stephen. I'm not sure what their names is. He mentioned a few names anyway, but I couldn't picture. But so, all right, Stephen said, try and find out who they are anyway, Stephen. But he was describing them to me, but he couldn't describe them in a perfect way, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So obviously they knew me, or maybe I knew them if I knew he was talking about. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, the moral of the story was that he shocked me by even calling me the name.
That name travelled.
Yes. But on the other hand, since then, that's like probably 6 or 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
And every time he rings me phone, well, Flakes, how's things?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
He's still around, yeah?
He's still around. He's a
what
lovely,
age is he?
lovely. He's 70, I think he's 77 now or 78.
So he's only a young fella.
He's a young man, yeah. I'll tell you one thing, he's going around like a young fella. He's what you call it, he has the spring in the step, is that what you say?
My own dad's the same. My own dad, whose nickname is Bonky Scurry. He's 75 years of age. He went to the doctor the other day. The doctor gave him a full checkup, and I tell you, he was bouncing around the place.
Serious?
Cycles in and out of town, goes to the gym, goes swimming in the pool, out pottering around the garden. He was painting. I went home the other night. We were recording, and I went home. It was at 11 o'clock at night or something like that. He's up with the paintbrush, glossing the doors and all that.
What do they call that? A young mind in an old frame,
He's
is it?
unbelievable. He's an inspiration.
Yeah, a young mind in an old frame, that's what they call it, yeah. It's actually good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's basically he's not telling himself he's old, and that's just it, like.
Yeah, and he's not afraid of it. I think he's leaning into it, but he's owning it as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's saying, all right, Paul, that's his name. All right,
he
Paul, this is where we're at.
He sounds like a man that's making the best of every day then.
Every moment of every day.
Wow.
And I tell you what, I've never got more hugs off him in the last 4 or 5 years.
So you're still his baby, are you?
Well, I think he sees me as a big grown man now who he just loves, and he just wants to hug all the time, you know?
Very good.
So it's a great way to have it.
Yeah, but the one thing I never asked was, I never asked this guy how his nickname. That was the other story. But I was funny when he called me Flakes on the phone from Lourdes.
So where does Flakes come from your daddy?
Well, Flakes would have been going back for years and way before my time. You
need to do a bit of research and come back to me and go,
yeah, I don't know.
Here's where the name comes from.
Maybe I know the research. Maybe I don't want to tell you the research, do I?
Oh, is it? It's like me dad's
not
nickname.
enough to tell you his nickname, no?
My dad's nickname was Bonky, but I found out that years ago in Sheriff Street, Bonky was the name of a bank robber. So he's saying to me that we call me dad El Chapo now. We slag him all the time. That's why he's living over in Spain and all. He'll kill me for telling you that. Yup, the El Chapo. Funny.
And there's more nicknames. And you have I have an uncle, Fox. His name was
Fox.
God rest him, he's dead, but he was a brilliant comedian.
Do you know his name?
John. His name was John.
John what?
It was Stokes.
John Stokes. He's Fox. And Flakes is your daddy.
They were two brothers. Yeah, they were two brothers.
And Flakes' name is
Martin.
Also, and you were named after him.
I was named after him.
You're basically Martin's Martin.
I was the lucky one. Yeah.
You're Martin's Martin.
Excuse me. That's right. Martin's Martin. Yeah, you could call me
Which
that.
Martin's Martin?
Flakes
is Martin.
I've never ever been called Martin's Martin.
Well, I just called you that because I hear this all the time.
Well, yeah, but you're the Countryman again. You see, this is Countryman style. You see, we're talking here now, aren't we?
It's Martin's Martin. Which Martin's Martin?
It's Flakes
Flakes is Martin.
It's Flakes is Martin. Yeah, that's how a lot of travellers, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of it in the Celtic community also. They'd know each other more by nickname than they would just by their birth name, as you call it.
Oh, I'll tell you, there used to be a fella in Ballymun called Weirdo. Now, I think eventually he didn't like us calling him Weirdo because it was like he's a bit of a weirdo. But everyone knew him as Weirdo. I don't think
anyone would like that name now, would they?
But everyone knew him as Weirdo, and it was like, that was what we all knew him as.
Yeah.
There's another fella, I know.
Yeah, sometimes they're sort of... the nicknames. I'm not saying that nickname suits anybody. I mean, Weirdo. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Straight up.
We were only kids now.
I know that it was a joke, and then
it was a bit of a joke, but it carried on.
And the joke still sticks with them.
We were adults then, and we were still calling him Weirdo.
But the other one where I was saying about Fox.
Yeah.
He was a fox. He was crafty as could be.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm guessing, I don't know for sure how he got the name. I genuinely don't.
I think the action came first.
But I'm telling you now, I reckon he got the name from being the crafty, and he was crafty. He was very good.
The sly fella.
And you know what he was good at? He had all the one-liners in the country.
Very good.
I'm telling you now, he had the best one-liners you ever heard.
He's as sharp as a knife.
But he's dead now, God rest him, yeah.
There's a fella called Elvis, used to go around Ballymun. Now, here's the thing, I don't know if these people know that everyone else is calling them these names.
Is that right?
Do you know what I mean?
So do you think they'd be offended if they were actually...
But the only way to find out...
Some names are offensive, aren't they?
The only way to find out was to say to them, I know a mate of mine, said a fella's nickname to him, and your man said to him, what are you calling me that for? And he goes, that's what everyone calls you. And he was like, what? I won't say the name because the fella's still around. It's a bit too close to home.
Yeah.
But yet nobody... Your man hadn't got a clue that people would call him. Everyone in Ballymun was calling him this. Yeah. And my mate went up to him going, all right. And he said his name. And your man was like stunned.
So basically, he didn't even know he was getting called his name.
He didn't even know it. And the name kind of was very offensive.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But my mate went up and said it to him in front of a couple of hundred people.
Ah, that was nice. Some people don't like to be called certain nicknames, you know. And even if people are trying to tag them with a nickname...
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they actually want... Like, don't get me wrong, some people have a different type of sense of humour. They probably play along with it and slag along with it and probably don't care what you call the kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then you have the other people who can be offended by certain...
Absolutely, going back to the K word and the N word.
By certain names.
You know what I mean?
They're not exactly nicknames, they're ignorance.
They are ignorance, but if you're calling somebody what you think is a nickname, but it's actually a slagging.
So are we saying then... just say 100,000 people can be called the one name as a nickname? No. I don't think so.
I think it's too easy to put people into a category, into a box.
Yeah.
I think the challenge is to see everyone as equal.
I think if a person has a nickname and they know they have the nickname and they don't mind being called it, then that's okay to go along with that.
Yeah.
Not that you call everybody by their nickname anyway.
Like Lanky.
But there's a name I know. That other Aegis word we were talking about a while ago about, as I said, the N word, the K word, all that stuff. That is, if that's, let's say, if a person calls another person that name, then they are genuinely doing it through ignorance and stupidity, be honest about it.
Yeah, but they mightn't know. I think as soon as they know and they still use it, well, then,
I think they do know.
Do you think?
Because I do, yeah. Because I'll tell you why. It comes from the Irish. Being honest about it, it comes from the Irish. You would never hear that word in England or in any other country.
Are we talking about the K word?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You would never hear that in England or in any other country.
Like it is uniquely Irish, yeah.
Yes. So who are the Irish offending? They're offending their own people.
Yeah, and that's part of the truth about it is that there is a shame in the Irish people about the traveller community. And they use this word to create a distance between...
We'll go back to that stupid word again anyway, right? But the thing about it is...
Well, let me say this. They use that word to create a distance between them and the traveller because they don't think that the traveller is Irish or that they actually all came from the same same people.
Do you remember earlier on when we sort of said about something about sometimes one settled person will call another settled person that word, that K word, yeah?
Yeah.
Say the knacker word, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Whether it be joking or serious, yeah? Are they referring to the thing about the horses, which I never delved too much into, or are they actually referring to a traveller? So are we calling you a traveller or are we calling you a horse collector? Which is it?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is...
So they're confusing themselves now, aren't they?
They're confusing themselves, and what they're trying to do
and what's happening is passing on to the settled community.
Yeah.
So now we have people who are, and I don't mean this from all the settled community. I'm talking about say whatever certain margin on it. Ignorant people, okay?
Yeah.
If they're using that and they're calling this the travellers, now we have them calling it to each other, to themselves.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, which means they must be very stupid people.
Yeah, or very insecure.
Very well, same thing. Very insecure. So,
or they feel like because of their insecurity, they have to put other people into a box because it makes them feel better about themselves.
Yes.
And instead of calling them travelling people or what's that other word? Minkier.
Minkers.
Minkers.
I think the whole thing boils down to a serious lack of intelligence. That's being honest about it.
Yeah.
That would be my opinion anyway. I don't know if everyone looks at it the same way.
No, I think so.
Like for instance, if you call somebody a name they didn't want to be called that name, yeah?
And you continue doing
I would look at you and say to you, gee, that's not very intelligent.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be very wise or humble or smart.
Yeah.
It shows,
so
an ignorance, a lack of intelligence.
They're degrading the whole thing on their own behalf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
sorry, Dean, I'm probably speaking too good a words to you here, am I? I'm sorry, I apologise.
No, I think the way you're saying it, the way you're framing it is an interesting way that maybe people haven't thought about before.
Maybe people don't see it that way, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe they just don't know. But now that we have this conversation, maybe now you'll know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you didn't know,
just stop calling people names. It's very simple. Don't be calling people names.
Or nicknames. Call them by their name.
Yeah. I wouldn't really call people by their nicknames.
I call you Martin.
Yeah.
You call me Deanie.
But on the other hand, I call you Deanie Boy because I'm slagging with you, right? But on the other hand...
You're just contradicting yourself then.
No, I'm slagging with you because you understand that. So we're actually joking at each other, okay?
Okay. So I see the fine line there.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here as ignorant as can be and calling you a nickname.
You're not putting me down, degrading me.
No, I'm not degrading you, no.
You don't think you're better than me?
I don't think I can degrade you anymore, can I?
Could you think you're better than me?
No, I don't think I'm better than you, no. Dean, how is a travelling man going to sit here and tell a countryman he's better than him? Tell me that.
Would you be equal?
Equal, yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm equal. I never ever class myself any better or any worse than anybody. I don't care who they are and I don't care where they come from. I class myself equal no matter what.
I think I'd read off.
I'll always be a traveller. There's no doubt about that. You ain't taking that away, right? But I never, ever, ever class myself worse or better than anybody else.
I think I read off the same page as that.
Well, back to calling people names.
I'm me, and that's it. I'm not bigger, smaller, wiser, dumber, smarter, or anything. I'm just me, and that's it.
Yeah, Charlie Price said that. Today and every day, I'm just me.
I'm just me. It's beautiful. Back to what?
Back to calling people names.
Yeah.
I think in any kind of names, if it's going to hurt somebody or offend them, don't call them. Simple as.
Or if your intention is to hurt them, just be honest about that.
No matter what the word might be.
But if your intention is to be honest, or if your intention is to hurt people, be honest about it and say, I'm going to say this in order to offend and hurt people.
We're talking about,
then you can say what you want.
It seems like we're having a go at the settled community here. We're not.
No, it's definitely not.
Because I'll tell you why we're not. Because we have, I think I know we have anyway, We have settled communities also calling each other names. We have travellers calling each other names.
Yeah.
We have, without a doubt.
Part of the thing that settled people slag travellers about is the travellers calling other travellers names.
So they get a buzz out of that, is that it?
It's like entertainment.
Well, sure, it is entertainment.
It kind of is a bit, yeah.
It is entertainment. Whether it's the right entertainment or the wrong entertainment.
What are you watching it for?
Yes, exactly. If you're watching it, then it's entertainment. But
Yeah.
it mightn't be good entertainment.
It mightn't be feeding your heart or your soul.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's definitely wouldn't be Brendan Grace anyway.
No, I'd rather watch Brendan Grace.
You know what I mean? Than a load of people trying to rip
if you're...
rip skin off each other by slagging.
Yeah, that's right. But,
You know what I mean? I'd say there's a lot could be helped by a conversation, a handshake and a hug.
Yeah, that's right. A handshake is very powerful.
Yeah.
Very, very. Like, for instance, you're angry with somebody, yeah? And you don't know what's going on in their world. They probably don't know what's going on in yours. And sometimes, I'm not saying personally myself, but I've seen people who literally don't like each other. And then this dislikeness can turn into hatred.
Yeah.
And somehow, when they shake hands, it seems to wash everything away.
It dissolves it all.
So it's powerful, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's the power of God, I have to say that.
Oh, get it in there.
Without a doubt.
Martin is
It's the power of God.
Is the word spiritual or holy, do you think?
I don't know, Dean. You're the one that's...
I think, you're
You're the one that's making the description here.
So I'm trying to find the words that suits it. I think you're inspired by the word of God.
Deeply.
Deeply, yeah.
Excuse me. Deeply inspired by the word of God, yeah. I find it very, very powerful.
It's a beautiful thing to look at.
It's a big part of my life and my family's lives, honestly.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dean, I'm talking about the other thing was two people shaking hands.
Yeah.
It is a lot of power in it.
Well, a lot of the symbols of peace is two hands shaking.
I'll give you an idea.
I know in Derry there's a peace statue and it's two hands almost touching, which saying we have to work at this peace thing.
Yes, we're getting close there.
Yeah.
I'll give you a small example of it. Right, it's a little bit silly, but anyway, there was two young lads, right, and they're actually on the site, and they had a bit of a disagreement, yeah. So they sort of, you might say, met for each other with a few thumps, yeah. And now I wasn't there at the time, but they decided anyway. Word goes around, the two young lads, they wanted to fight each other. These lads would have been over 21, 22 years of age, probably, yeah.
So they were nearly men, but still boys.
No, but they were strong lads, though. That's the only thing. Anyway, heard about it anyway. And next I heard that they were going to meet up at whatever. No, I wouldn't generally go to watch fights, to be honest with you. So what I done, I got a hold of one of the lads, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, look, so you don't need to fight. I said, what is it going to prove by the two of you going out there, slugging the heads off each other, basically, thumping the heads of each other, yeah? Now, I said, what I want you to do, is go down. When you go down, when you meet him, I want you to shake hands with him. And I said, believe me, he said, when you shake hands, you will feel a lot better when you come home. So the two lads, he was in the car, wasn't he?
Yeah.
With two other lads. And I told them also, I said, boys, I said, don't let them fight. I said, make sure, I didn't want to go down around it, you see.
Yeah.
I said, you make sure that them two boys shakes hands. Right? But the anger was coming out to this young lad. I'm talking about anger. And they really wanted to...
The bloodlust.
They wanted to hurt each other, right?
Yeah.
But again, they're only young lads. So I told the other boys anyway, they were going down. I said, to make sure, to shake hands, to make peace, and then obviously they can be friends again, basically. Because it was nothing big, it was no big deal anyway. As young lads, they thought it was a bigger deal, you know what I mean? So they went down anyway, and of course, the two lads that went down with them got the two of them to, explain a bit of common sense, and got the two of them to shake hands.
Fair play.
Up to this day, they're two good friends.
Lovely.
Right? Thanks be to God, they didn't fight. Come back up anyway. And I seen the lad I was talking to before he went down. I said, what's the crack now? So how are you feeling now? I'm feeling a lot better. I said, is all your hatred... I just want to say to them, this is no lies. I said, is all your hatred gone, saying all your anger? It is, he said. So I just buy a handshake. It's true.
Yeah.
The power of a handshake. As just by a handshake now, I said, all that anger's gone out of you, I said. Do you feel like killing him now? No, I don't, he said. He said, what did he say? He said, both of us was wrong, he said. That's exactly what he said.
That's a lovely thing. Both of us
was wrong.
And that's lovely.
And up to this day, they're good friends.
That's honesty, yeah.
I'm not going to mention names.
The lesson is...
Two young lads.
The lesson is they could have pulled the head off each other and 100 other men and never learned that lesson.
They would have hurt each other, yeah. There were two young lads, but they were strong little lads.
Yeah.
And they would have dug into each other. Point said they wouldn't. But the nice thing was that when they shook hands, then they had respect for each other then.
Yeah.
They didn't feel no more anger, no more hatred, no more bitterness. They didn't want to be attacking each other, if you know what I'm saying. So it was actually good.
And they could use that.
But back to the one thing.
They could use that beyond that day.
Back
in the
to
rest
the
of
one
life.
thing. It was the power of a handshake.
Yeah.
That dissolved all the bitterness.
But also the wisdom of an elder like you.
Well, I wouldn't say I was wise, but it's nice to make peace.
I'd say you were an elder though.
Yeah, I was. I was older. Yeah, well, they were only said in the 20.
Well, you weren't telling them go down there and take the head of him with a slash hook.
No, that wouldn't be a nice thing to do.
Do you know what I mean? You were saying, here's a way out of this for both of you. A bit of humility, a bit of honesty, and a handshake.
But sure, the best policy is at any time. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't. I don't know if other people would agree with this, but personally, I think the best way out of stuff like that is to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's two lads angry, they're liable to say things to each other. So it has to be someone from the sideline to come in there and talk common sense.
Yeah.
And get them calmed down. And do your very best to get them to shake hands. And keep the peace. Because it's living proof that two guys that can literally hate each other, it is a fact that they can turn out to be best friends.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the basis of their friendship is based in humility and honesty and a bit of courage. It takes courage to shake a man's hand.
That's right, yeah.
It doesn't take much courage to hook the head off a fella.
It does take courage, but you have to understand, sometimes it takes a little bit of convincing also.
Yeah.
You see, if you have two lads here, two young lads that age, and they're raving to get at each other kind of thing, you know what I mean? The little bit of pride is stuck in each of them.
Yeah.
And neither one of them wants to say no. And even though one of them might know the other one is better, it can happen. It's not always the case. I'm just saying. They just don't have that in them to say no.
Yeah.
So but if someone else can step in and say, hold lads, look, you don't need to fight. Can we not just make a shake hands? If you want to walk away from each other, fine. You don't have to talk to each other, but it'd be nicer if you did. Shake hands and just forget about it. It just completely, it's like... takes all the bitterness away
Do
from
that noise again.
That was like a whistle, wasn't it?
Yep.
But it's great. That was only a small, as I said, a small sample, a small portion of
your wisdom.
Whatever you want to call it.
Come here, you're too humble. So, I want to just pull you up on something, because I had you saved on my phone as Martin Sight, and you were at the saying, you gave out to me the other day going, what have you got sight there for?
Not exactly.
But you're at the saying sight about 4 times here.
No, I'm using the word sight.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, will I?
But I can't use it.
I'll tell you straight up, will I?
Go on.
If I went for, this is what you call the sympathy card again here, right? And the discrimination card, okay? It sounds like that, but
you can use it, I can't.
No, I'm not saying you can't use it. Dean, I'm going to be straight up with you, right? If I went into say for instance, right, I want to apply, just say, for a job.
Yeah.
Now, this is very simple, right? And I'm not saying this is the case in all cases or the same circumstances, right? But what I'm saying is, if I went in for a job and I'm thinking in my own mind, if I tell these people I'm living on a site, I am not getting no job, simple as. If I use my address as whatever number, St. Margaret's Park,
yeah,
the park sounds like a house address.
Very good.
It does.
So you're selling yourself bigger.
Well, I'm not selling myself. No, I'm just saying.
But it'd be like me years ago. People wouldn't have used Ballymun on their CVs.
That's right. I know that for facts.
You know what I mean? And now with pride, I say put Ballymun on it.
Ballymun, yes. So what I'm saying is, for years I've been using the address, like even on me, say, my driver's license now, and I have that a long time. St. Margaret's Park, Ballymun.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying it happens every day or even everywhere with everybody. I am saying simply, it's a better, it's a more solid address for me.
But locally, you would call it
Where is he? He's up in the site.
He's up in the site.
Yeah,
and that's what I used it like that as well.
No, that's a word. Yeah, it's a word I would use, but I wouldn't put it on pen.
But when I had it on my phone and you seen it, you kind of got a little bit.
No, I was winding you up.
Were you?
I was genuinely winding you up, yeah.
Well, I took it on board and I changed it.
This is the problem with you, you take everything serious.
I do sometimes, yeah.
At this present moment, I don't even know why I'm sitting around you. I don't even know why I'm in the studio here with you.
I have a lot of respect for you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you should have, because I let you off all our stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you've earned it.
Episode 5. I had a lot of fun today. We're getting much more relaxed around each other. We're having the chats, the laughs, the banter, serious, funny, good stories. There's more of this to come. The more we just get comfortable and lean into it, and the more you guys want to listen to us and show support.
Just tick that box below.
Tick that box. Like that podcast. Share it with your friends. Send it to your auntie. Send it to Flakes Martin.
Flakes and Martin. Make that voice heard.
And Donkey Scurry. And use Be Our Megaphone and send our message around the world. So that's us for this episode. A Traveller and a Countryman podcast. If you like it, let us know. Share it around. And we'll see you on the road.